Hello Twin Flames, welcome to my channel. Whether you're new, you're coming back, happy Friday everyone. Today we have new moon in Aquarius happening. It's actually I think around 5 p.m. EST. The peak is at least at New York hours, and you can of course look up your time. For the majority of you, it's still gonna be today, just a different time zone. For some it may be beginning of Saturday, so somewhere at night. But essentially we are in that energy already, so let's see how it works out for the twins and get any useful advice. I've actually decided to start with Gabby Bernstein's deck, the Spirit Junkie, so we will see the positive affirmations, you know. There was a time in my life where a lot of my spiritual work was based on the affirmations. And of course there are different opinions on how well they work, do they work, but sometimes that's what we need, right? Like, not like the fear of like, I need to work on something, right? But this is an actual affirmation that you can keep saying. You can write it down, put it out there where you can see it over and over again, right? Like maybe in the kitchen, you're getting a drink of water, or you're cooking something and you're looking at it and it sinks in, you know? Like it works on so many levels, but it's good to try different things in your spiritual work, and this is definitely one of the methods. So today, that's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm bringing to you. For feminines, what do we have? I communicate with ease and grace. People are willing to embrace what I say. You see, when you're communicating with ease and grace, that message gets across much easier. People get it, people agree with you. You don't need to spend a lot of energy on persuading them or explaining what you're up to or justifying some of your choice. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that anyway, but especially when we expect those people to participate, to cooperate with us, that may be important, right? To be on the same page, to understand if you're in a relationship with someone, it's important for them to be on the same page. So that's why it's so important to communicate with ease and grace. What do we have for the masculines here? Very pink card. I like it already. And it has the word love in it. All that I love is more important to me than all that I fear. Focusing on the positive, on the strong, on the beautiful, on the loving, right? Like obstacles, challenges, they happen. It's life. A lot of times they're needed for us to create the setting for those beautiful things that we love, for people that are dear and near to our heart, and for us to remind ourselves why we cherish those people, those things, those activities in our life. Today is focused on that. So if you find yourself, this is for masculines, if you find yourself in a space of anxiety or just stressed over something negative that you need a solution for, the advice today is to focus on things that you love. And a lot of times when we get ourselves into that vibration, the resolution for the problem comes to you naturally. Okay, let's see what we have with tarot today. For my additional question, I mean, it will be about like the theme that this new moon is bringing us. It's new moon in Aquarius, so we can already at 20 degrees. So we can already say that it's, and I've been talking about Aquarius energy for a while now, that this new moon is for us to set intentions of how do we want to make a global impact, right? How, like, what is the purpose, right? How does the personal correlate with the global, right? Like, what am I doing in my personal space, in my own right, that creates impact for the collective? And it doesn't mean that like you drop everything and you just start volunteering 24/7. That's great, awesome activity, no doubt about that. But taking care of yourself is still your primary obligation, if you wish, to create that global impact. And there's a lot to unpack there. Spoken about it on the radio just recently. Maybe I'll try to find and save that message, where a lot of times in this day and age, we think in the way that society brings us up, right? And kind of disciplines us, that we're supposed to be the productive members of society and contribute something of ourselves, right? In our jobs, in the social work, like all kinds of areas. But it's like, what can you do for the humanity, right? Like, what can you do for your company, for your family, for your town, whatever the context is. And a lot of times it goes to the extreme where we actually put ourselves second, where we don't take care of ourselves, essentially. I'm struggling with the words a little today, but you get what I mean, right? Whereas that is supposed to be our primary target, objective, goal, and activity. And if everybody focuses on that, and mind that I don't mean that neglect everybody else around you. That's part of that anyway, that whatever we do to nurture ourselves, to show ourselves self-love, is not something damaging or breaking to the outside world. If it's naturally aligned, it's never gonna be like that, right? So if we are doing that in a loving, selfless way to ourselves, and everyone is, that's when we create global impact. And that's the part where by taking care of yourself, you create it. But that's for you to spin in your own right for today, for this lunar cycle, and see what you want to manifest, what kind of intentions you are setting for this new moon in Aquarius. Okay, bottom of the deck. Ooh, that's 10 of Pentacles. You see, the abundance comes in when you're doing all these things. When you communicate with ease and grace, when you're focusing on the love and not the fear. So easy to focus on the fear, especially with the mass media, with the online networks, with natural catastrophes, with wars, all kinds of conflicts, right? It immediately brings us like right into that negativity. So it actually may take some effort to switch your focus into the loving, positive, and precious. 6 of Cups, there you go. Part of that pressures is definitely the soul connection, that what warms you up. It doesn't have to be another person. It's great if you have those people around you, but even if you don't, and for some of you, I'm getting like, remember what you loved doing as a kid, what brought you comfort, what brought you joy. Do that for yourself today, as simple or silly as it may be. Even if it's a favorite toy that always brought you comfort, find that toy, find something similar. Do that. You know, it's gonna bring you into the right state of mind, and that's what's needed right now. Okay, so for feminines, we have stillness clarified by 5 of Swords. Yeah, so this is a message really where feminines are trying to get out of like the day-to-day hustle and huddle and all of those like hamster wheel activities, and bring back like the clarity and centering on like, okay, this is what's important right now. So figuring that out for yourself. Or if you have like 10 different activities on your list, you know you're not gonna get them done, right? Like figure out what are the top two that are really gonna create impact for yourself or for other people who matter to you, or both ideally, right? And focus on those. For masculines, we have Ace of Cups clarified by 4 of Cups. Yeah, so that's that love card, capital letters, L-O-V-E, right? This is moving from, how do I say this? From lack of hope and trust to hope and trust. But hope and trust, not delusional level, but just like abstract, but something specific based on exactly your surrounding, right? Like it needs to be grounded. And that's what DMs are asked to do today, to ground that love into something, into substance, into some specific wants, needs, goals, and relationships that you have, right? The specific hobbies. Yeah, it's like going from feeling stuck or feeling like everything's lame and like nothing's working out as I planned. I'm hearing those kind of thoughts back into I am love, I create love, and there's so much love around me, right? It's a very dramatic shift, but it will only sink in if you sync it, if you ground it into something specific, right? If you find those areas, and that's what this card was about. All that I love is more important to me than all that I fear, but you need to know what that all is. Important. Okay, what's the theme of this new moon? Knight of Pentacles clarified by Page of Pentacles. Yeah, again, this is like progress in the physical, right? How do I create progress every day, right? Not just like sitting idly and then suddenly there's like a big leap. No. How do I create progress a little bit at a time, but every day? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Feminines. Knight of Cups clarified by 5 of Pentacles. So this is about giving and receiving love. I mean, it's simple, but it's brilliant, right? Whenever you feel lonely, left out, miserable, or even left out financially, right? Like you lost money, somebody asked for a loan from you and never got it back. You have extra expenses you never planned. Like, it can be very practical like that, or it can be more like a feeling of like, like people are doing this and that. I don't know, Valentine's is around the corner, right? Maybe people have plans and you don't, right? And you're like, oh, and this is so lame that I'm like, I'm doing nothing. Valentine's, I'm doing nothing. But you are turning that around into something practical of what can you do to help? What do you have already, right? Like, oh, okay, but I have, like, I don't have to follow a specific list that people usually follow on Valentine's, right? Maybe I actually do have love in my life, but that person is far away, or this day they're working, right? And that's why you feel like that. But that's where you need to change that rhetoric, right? And see how much those specific circumstances, those labels, are not really defining your love story or your relationship with a specific someone, right? It's about giving and receiving love. And as long as that's present, and it can have different aspects to it, right? It doesn't have to, for some people, it's gifts, all right? For other people, it's doing something for each other, you know, something practical and useful. For other people, it's spending time together and creating that deep emotional intimacy where your significant other is your confidant and everything, and you can share things that you cannot share with anyone else, right? And depending on your love language and also your capacity in giving and receiving love, that's what you should be focusing on, really. For masculine, 7 of Swords clarified by the Hangman. Masculines are taking a different look at their story, at their history with relationships and how it defines them or doesn't define them. In this deck, 7 of Swords, as you can see, is connected with eyes. It's connected, it does have Aquarius energy here, which is interesting. And new moon, look at that, new moon, Aquarius. Wow, this is perfect. I know why it's here now. Yeah, so this new moon for the masculines is turning things around, especially as Mars is going into Aquarius, and this is a masculine energy, Mars. It's starting to shine light on self-image that masculines have of themselves based on their history, based on how other people have treated them, based on how their plans have worked out, whether it's personally or professionally, right? That creates a story, and it's like that for each and every one of us. But this is like having a very honest look, a very different look, like a kind of like zooming out and seeing it as, I don't know, your neighbor or your friend or your mom would see, right? Like from a different perspective than how you usually see it, right? And see how much of that story is actually faulty, or it was something temporary that doesn't define you now. Or maybe some people started telling you like, you always do this, or you always whatever escape this responsibility, or you kept doing that. Like if you did something a few times, it doesn't really define you, right? Or it's your choice to say, I'm not gonna do that anymore. It's not really me. Yes, I did act like that for a while, that provided me safety, but I don't want to do it anymore, right? Be very conscious about it, right? And that's how you create a practical impact, by assessing your history and what kind of habits it created and changing those habits. It's actually interesting, when I saw those pentacles in the in the additional question space, I immediately thought about Atomic Habits. This is a book. I forgot I think it's James Clear, but I might be wrong on the author. But Atomic Habits is the name of the book, and he is doing a lot of workshops, talks, everything online. He's a speaker really now. So yeah, it's like one of the main concepts of the book is that if you change 1% of your habits, of your actions, of how you spend your day, it will create a massive difference in your life. And yes, you need to keep doing it again and again. It's not like today I'm suddenly like changing my breakfast routine, like I'm improving my nutrition, right? You cannot reach that by doing it once. You know that you gotta keep doing it, right? For a while, at least until it becomes automatic, and then you don't really have to think about it, because that's what our brains is targeting. Like that's our brain's aim, to make activity as automatic as possible, so you waste as little energy as possible on making those decisions that are repetitive, right? But you need to make sure you have good information in them. So that's why it's important to revisit it consciously, little by little. Even if it's a little routine, it can change your life if you look at it, if you unpack it, and if you fill it in with good information, good content, whatever that could be, right? Message from feminines to masculines. Universe, or the World card, clarified by King of Cups. Yeah, so feminines are looking at different sources of love in their life. They definitely see DM being one of those, even if it doesn't always look like that, but they see the bigger picture. They understand that it was like, if there were some misalignments or disagreements, it was part of that specific cycle. It served a purpose, and they have belief, and they see the masculine as this King of Cups in becoming for a lot of them, but that's what they cherish, and that's what they're excited about, that they're gonna have this level of a companion when the twins come together, or they already have somebody of that level of understanding and emotional connection in their life, depending on where you are with your person. Message from masculines to feminines. We have Four of Pentacles clarified by the Moon. Yeah, very relevant, right? Another card that's pointing us to the Moon energy. But what it's doing, it's helping, especially with what I was just talking about here, it's helping them see where they've been holding back, where they've been overly cautious, where they couldn't really show their real selves, right? Because there was a lot of uncomfortable feelings and emotions there, right? And now they're starting to see how that shapes their life, essentially. So maybe the examples with the feminine are just more vivid, right? Because of this intense connection, they feel the fallout from it on a bigger level. But they're starting to realize slowly but surely how much it informed, or it keeps informing their behavior in their life overall, with everyone in every situation. And they don't want that storyline to be the only storyline that they have. So they're looking at how they've been following this faulty track, and what kind of change they need to bring into their life. That's their focus for this new moon in Aquarius. Okay, I hope this was useful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with my readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.